Hello and welcome to our Parkside Men's Soccer 2022 season preview, sponsored by Hampton Inn Suites. My name is Menzl, being joined by head coach Jason Zitzke, the reigning GLIAC Coach of the Year, back for his 12th season at the helm, 23rd season on the coaching staff. And Coach, thanks for joining us. How was your summer?
It went by fast, just like every year. We're 2 months away or a month away, and then all of a sudden, here we are in the middle of preseason. So it goes by fast, but I think we're all excited about the new year.
When you look at the off-season, was it a relatively normal off-season, from what you were used to pre-pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, actually, with the shutdown in the fall of 20, it kind of gave us an extra time for those new players that year to get together. So I think when we came back in the fall of 21, it actually helped us kind of have a year together with the team and guys getting to know each other. So now in the fall, it's a pretty good group of 11 new players. So it's not as much time to get used to each other, but we're trying to learn on the fly, and hopefully in 2.5 weeks we can start to gel.
I want to go back and forth. So first, looking at the off-season, what was the focus for those guys that are coming back?
I don't know. I'll probably say this 3 times, but I think every year is a new year. So hopefully this is the last thing I say about last year, but there were some guys that had very good seasons and record setting and all that stuff. My advice would be for them not to try and replace somebody or worry about what somebody did last year. Is just build on what your game is. Hopefully we can figure out everybody's roles and mesh those together, and just be who you are and not try to be somebody else.
I do want to go back to 2021 though for a second. You look at the way the season went, obviously regular season, conference tournament champions, hosted an NCAA tournament matchup, also would go on and win the most number of matches since 2000. How would you go about summarizing what this team was able to accomplish last fall?
I don't know. I think we just got on the roll. We had a very good start to the season, and then we had some bumps in the middle, and towards the end we realized I think Davenport was a couple of games ahead of us, and basically said, again, taking it one game at a time, not getting ahead of ourselves, but there's very little margin for error. And I think at the end of the season, it was about 7 games in a row that we had to win to share the regular season title with Davenport. So, at the time, it's like one game at a time. Let's just focus on today. But looking back, we had a pretty good run. Won 2 more games in the conference semis and the finals, and then had a disappointing finish in the NCAA tournament, hosting our first game in a long time.
I know you don't want to put pressure, and you just mentioned this a couple of answers ago. We look at what was lost from that team. Obviously, Roddy Novakovic, the GLIAC Offensive Player of the Year. You had Max Ludwig, a great facilitator. But how do you go about it? And you kind of touched on this, but I want to dig a little bit further. How do you go about trying to fill those voids, or going about trying to replace that offensive output?
Well, I think that's a good question. But from year to year, that's always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Again, take somebody like Roddy. He had a record-breaking year, was the Player of the Year. Okay, you're not going to have too many of those. But a couple years ago, how do we replace Lecky Purba?
Mm-hmm.
And this year it's Roddy Novakovic, and you hope players that are already in the squad, maybe they were a substitute, they become starters, and a starter reaches a new level, and hopefully some of these newcomers can step in, whether it's freshmen or transfers. And again, I think you can make it look too big picture sometimes, and I'm a big day-to-day person, so today we're going to try to be the best whoever we are, and we have a scrimmage today. After that's over, we're going to assess how we did and can we improve this a little bit the next day. I think if you get too far ahead of yourself, you just lose focus.
Another big void is at that goalkeeper position. Alex Duran, the GLIAC Goalkeeper of the Year, is gone. You have 4 goalkeepers on the roster. Have you been pleased with what you've seen as far as those 4 competing in training camp?
Yeah, they've all gotten time so far. I think each one of them has done a good job, and again, they're jockeying for minutes in starting position, but so far every goalkeeper that's stepped on the field for us has done a great job. So I hope that continues in our next 2 scrimmages, and we'll see what happens going into the season.
Now that back line brings back experience led by Henry Brewers, Madala, but there are a couple others that got plenty of playing time a year ago. Is it fair to say, at least on paper going into the season, that back line could be a strength as far as position goes going in?
I hope so. we have, whatever. Everybody's going through things.
Mm-hmm.
We have to replace some players still from that back line. Injuries. We've had to shuffle. We've had to move some guys from different positions. Again, I'm hoping that somebody that was maybe a midfielder can adapt to the role as a back, or a new guy stepping in can solidify things. But you hope that if you can, the way we train, the concepts that we've had in the past, if we can keep trying to do those things, I hope that we're solid in the back.
Do you feel like at this point you have a good grasp on what the strengths could be, at least early on?
No.
No.
No, again, I try to take it day to day, and if I look at things too far, I don't have a good understanding of it. I feel like every year you try to prepare your team as well as you can before that first game, but there's always questions, and sometimes you're surprised. And over the course of the year, I think you start to realize, okay, this is who we are,
mm-hmm.
whether it's on the attacking side or defensive. After a couple games, say, this year we might be a little bit better at this, or we have to compensate for this that last year we were good at. So at this point, no, I don't think so. You're creating that every day, but after 2 scrimmages, we can say, this has been good, and today and Saturday we have 2 more scrimmages, and if that continues, hopefully into the season, that becomes a strength. This is how we're going to play.
Without having played a meaningful matchup at this point, this may be a tougher question to answer, but how have the newcomers been fitting into this point?
I'd say I'm pleasantly surprised, again, because you never know until you see them in training.
Mm-hmm.
They can come for a tryout, or you watch them play, or sometimes with the internationals it's just video, so until you see them play. But I'd say 10 minutes into that first practice, I was pleased with how everybody, all of them. Some of them are a junior transfer, some of them is a natural freshman, and I think each guy, again, you start with the effort and intensity and focus. I think each guy brought it, from day one, and I hope that continues.
When you look at the conference, what do you maybe anticipating this season? We look at, obviously last year was Parkside and Davenport, and then a lot of parity thereafter. Do you expect more of the same, a lot of parity?
Again, I think you never know until it happens, and you see how things are. Maybe when you look at the end of the season and all the dust settles and kind of everything, you see it more clearly and say, yeah, that kind of throughout the year I saw that team was better than they were the year before. I knew we were going to have a tougher time or whatever it is, but until it happens, you just never know. And I think if you think you do, that you're in trouble. So I would say, and each team that we've played, we've had our ups and downs with every single team, every single program. So I'm not assuming anything, and
mm-hmm.
we're going to have to earn it every day.
So to wrap it all up, as we sit here today, as you take it day to day, as of today, what excites you about this upcoming 2022 season?
What excites me about it? Again, I hope this is true, but from the outside looking in, I just feel like the togetherness, the tight-knit group that we have, it feels like they're gelling. I guess until when things are good, everything looks great. And until you hit a little bump in the road or something bad happens, you really don't know who's a good teammate, right? It's easy to be a good teammate when everything's going great for you, but when there's a little adversity, how do people react? And I think that's really when you find out. So it's early, we haven't seen that yet, but for the most part, it seems like the guys are getting along well, and I think that's a huge part of your team.
Coach, as always, thanks a lot for your time.
All right, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now being joined by Parkside senior defender Henry Brewer-Spadala. Thanks for joining us. What have you been up to this offseason?
Well, thank you for having me. Well, over the summer, just try to stay fit. Just try to stay into soccer, preparing for the upcoming season. So it was a quick turnaround, to be honest. Went by faster than I expected. I thought, I have 2 months, but then you turn around and it's already beginning of August and you come back on campus. So it was a good summer. Stayed fit, so you're looking forward to the season. Yeah.
Can't wait. And you're coming off a fantastic 2021 season, all region for a 4th consecutive year, all conference. But you were named the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Year. What does that accolade mean to you to know that, at least in this conference, you're considered the best defensive player?
Well, obviously it feels good to get all those things, but at the end of the day, I would not be able to do any of that without my teammates. And I think all those accolades just show how well we played over the last couple of years as a team, how well we defended together, like especially for me and the back line. But everyone who's on the field, off the field, like we just have been like amazing teams over the last 4 years with different people coming in. So it's all due to them playing with me. I'm playing with them. So it's not about myself. It's pretty much just shows how great the team was.
For you, is there a hunger going into this season after all the success this team had last year to try to, get back to that level, not surpass what the team was able to do last year?
Of course, but like how coach said, really take it day by day, game by game. It's going to be a tough season with a lot of new guys on our team, so we still like phase of figuring out each other on and off the field. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but of course I'm really excited for the season, and yeah, just gotta take it one step at a time and see how it's going.
You mentioned the offseason, you stayed fit. How's training camp going for you so far?
Of course, it's tough. It's always tough the first 2 weeks. A lot of playing and running and working on different things. So, but it's been great. A lot of fun. And it's amazing time. Me personally, I love the preseason because it's really just soccer. You have no schools, or you just get to wake up, practice twice a day, eat, sleep, repeat, pretty much. So it's a good time, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
We've touched on it, but with so many new faces on the field, is it taking some getting used to as to who's positioned where, trying to figure out who can do what on this team?
I think, yeah, of course it does, but I can already tell, like, after a week, we are coming together pretty closely, and I think we click on and off the field already. So I think we're getting there. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure each other out, because everyone, of course, has their own style of play and all that, but I think we're getting there, and I think if we give it a little bit more time, it will definitely work out. Yeah.
Finally, for you, what goals do you have for yourself? What goals do you have for the team this fall?
Myself, I mean, I just want to help the team as much as possible with the experience I have, especially with the young guys. Yeah, for the team, I think I just want to be able that we can say we enjoyed every moment together, that we worked hard together. I think that's always one thing I say, like, some things don't go right. As long as we fight together as a team, I think that's already like a great success in every game. And then hopefully just like have a great season, see where it goes. It's always tough to say at the beginning, so just take it one step at a time and see where we will end up. And yeah, just excited to get back out there.
Henry, thanks a lot for your time. All the best this fall, and thank you for watching this men's soccer season preview presented by Hampton Inn Suites.